Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of r/AskReddit. Today's episode is brought to you by Cringy Emo Kids Question. People who have used the dark web, what is the most surprising thing you have seen? Created by Raunchy Reddits.
I had a guy contact me on Facebook as I am a mortician, and he had questions about death. Seems he had been recently diagnosed with a brain tumor and while messing around on the internet found an offer on the deep web to fly him overseas and film killing him and selling his parts to people on the dark web, which would financially set his family up because he had no insurance. He was scared about the process of dying and having the stuff going on to him. I was more concerned about him ghosting on his family to go die somewhere else. Not sure what happened to the guy, but his name was Sam. I found one service once upon a time that I usually mention when Tor comes up in conversation. In short, this guy would randomize your mail for 6 to 7 weeks before you planned to get a delivery of something illegal, but he had no involvement in the shipping of anything illegal. You'd pay this guy a couple $100s, and he'd send things to your residence on a weekly basis. Week 1, ice skates. Week 2, a board game. Week 3, sneakers. Week 4, an Xbox controller. So on and so forth. So, you'd give him a schedule and a date of when you'd be ordering something illegal, and he'd spam your place with various packages of random, innocuous retail bullcrap from distributors around the world leading up to the date you'd get drugs, or whatever, shipped to your home, in order to randomize your mail and create a pattern, or lack thereof, that, allegedly, would help decrease the chances that your illegal order would ping some USPS monitor. Edit, I am not making an argument that this type of service is worthwhile, nor do I know anything about the efficacy of trying to trick USPS. All I know, and all I'm saying, is this guy/service exists, and he had quite a few high reviews from other users who were selling and buying illegal crap. Not something I found on my own, but apparently there is, or was, a dating website where you would sign up and they would send you a shirt that you wore for 3 days without showering and then you would send it back. Then they would send you other shirts and you would pick who you wanted to date based on their smell. There was this whole deep psychological argument behind it about human pheromones. What surprised me was that it wouldn't look out of place on the surface web. There's this website for anonymously confessing your secrets. Sometimes I'll spend a good hour clicking through them. Usually they're just something like, I cheated on my boyfriend, or an ad for cocaine they're selling. Sometimes they get a bit more shocking, like rape, incest confessions. I also kept seeing the same one over and over with a guy saying he loves child porn and can't help himself, with a WhatsApp number to send pictures to. There's one I'll never forget though. It was a long story this guy wrote about his life. He's a doctor who loves his job, is well respected in his town, is married with kids, and is happy. But he's also a serial child rapist. He goes on to describe in great detail what he's done to each child, along with the age of the victims, and, holy frick. I could barely get through it, but I also couldn't not read it. 1 Credit cards and documents. $10 for a $500 credit card. I also learned about carding without trying it, which is when I understood the darknet is not for newbies like me to fake money. 3 Amazon-like bazaar for drugs with reviews, was fun as frick to read the reviews. Oh, I also don't do drugs, but I really wanted to see a bazaar. For $1,000 you get 100 IDs to frick with. The info is all legit. Mostly dead people. Some high credit score saps who were careless with their info, or who were part of a corporate hack. It's a crapshoot as to what might work and what won't. Mostly people trying to open credit cards, creating passports and driver's licenses, filing tax returns, but the conversations that really disturbed me were the ones about laundering money. It's painfully obvious that the whole dark web and cryptocurrency craze is being driven by the need to wash lots and lots of money, and dead people's checking accounts, fake business invoices and spoofed online orders are a great way to clean money for pennies on the dollar. It's mostly from drugs and human trafficking, and seeing what was going on in real time with my own 2 eyes has changed my views towards cryptocurrency radically. A long time ago, when the deep web was pretty undeveloped and unknown to the masses, I saw that there was an assassination ring where big players would put up large amounts of money, betting that someone would live to a certain date. If the person lived to that date, they got their money back and more, but people could take the bet, which means they put up a set percentage of the original amount and attempt to kill the person before the set date. I lost the link, or I would have reported it. But it was real and being used from what it saw. Some people who lived down the hall from me in my college dorm last year bought drugs on the dark web. What surprised me was how professional it was. The website they used was incredibly well made and had high production value videos on it describing their products, showing them in different settings, and had reactions of people using the drugs. I never touched it myself because Jesus frick that crap, but overall 8/10 except the part where he was arrested for trafficking an ounce of Molly across the country 2 separate times. He had a $500,000 bail when he was arrested. Going to jail 2/10. Recipes for the novice cannibal, ranging from those with a sophisticated palate to those who are compelled by their macabre exigencies. Instructions how to procure meat and how to simulate the taste of human meat with the substitution of animal remains. How to repurpose bones and hair, how to obtain a pliant mind to imitate the act of killing a specific person without the repugnant ramification. The site was a coalesce of immorality, some cannibals indulged and others sought to attenuate their desires. Now, the latter group uses the clean web and impedes the compulsion through therapy and simulation. The former group of iniquitous individuals remain, although I'm incredulous to believe they can digest that much human flesh without any sickness. Every amateur knows not to eat any of the brain matter, yet they still advocate for its consumption. The occasional Hannibal Lecter cosplayers stumbled upon the site, their identity evinced by the ardor about the liver. 20 years or so ago, as the web was just starting up but the internet was well established, a friend and I dared each other to find the most disturbing things we could find online. That was a mistake. Don't attempt this yourself. I was fairly naive about what people might put out there in public. It's not that I am inherently naive, it is just that I could not imagine putting stuff out in public that could get you into serious criminal trouble. I know that people do all sorts of terrible things in private, but who puts it all out there for the FBI and everyone to see? Or for people armed with both a sense of decency and a clawhammer to see? In my limited wisdom, I decided to mess around looking into incest-themed newsgroups. I know that now incest porn is the basic recommended porn on all the tube sites, but 20 years ago it was not at the forefront of the porn conversation. It turns out that for some people, incest is a code for very bad things done to people who can't resist. I am still scarred from just a few images I saw that long ago. Don't go looking for this stuff, at least partly because it is there to be found, and unless something is really wrong with you, you really, really don't want to see it.